Hi, my name is Allie Sprecher, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about leadership within organizational communication, and specifically, just leadership within organizations and what that means and what that looks like. And first, I want to talk about what is known about leadership within organizations or companies. And through all the research that I did and through several books that I've read, one thing is clear, and that it is incredibly important to have good leaders within companies and organizations. It can truly make or break the successfulness of a company or an organization. It can create good morale within a company. It can help with employee turnover rates. And that in turn can overflow into the public's viewpoint of the company based on essentially what the employees feel is good leadership, because if they feel good leadership, it overflows into the way that they connect with the public. Next is just wanting to talk a little bit about what makes a good leader and what are the things that makes a good leader. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was words. The words that a leader uses are important, and a leader shouldn't use words flippantly. They should be intentional with the words they use, whether it's in encouragement, whether it's in confrontation, good or bad confrontation. The words that they use are vitally important. And specifically, the quote from the book War of Words by Paul David Tripp says, "Words are powerful, important, and significant. It was meant to be that way. When we speak, it must be the realization that God has given our words significance. He has ordained them to be important." And I think that quote shows significance to the words that are important. And it's not just as a leader of an organization, but even as he said, as Paul David Tripp said in there, it must be the realization that God has given our words significance. He has ordained them to be important. And I think it's incredible to view that even as a Christian from that standpoint, to know that the Lord has ordained our words as important and as significant, and it is from Him that we are to use them with purpose. And so the first important aspect of a leader would be the words that they use. The next one is the ability to motivate. And when I was reading through this one, I thought it was very interesting. It's not that I had never thought of that before, but I don't think I recognized the significance. And I thought back to just different leaders that I had, and ones that could motivate me versus ones that could not. And it was clear that whatever team or whatever job I was working with the leader that could motivate me, that overall team or effort was more successful, because the leader had this ability to make you find purpose in what you were doing. And a quote I have specifically in regards to motivational leadership comes from Daniel Goleman in his article, What Makes a Leader? And it says, "If there is one trait that virtually all effective leaders have, it is motivation. They are driven to achieve beyond expectations, their own and everyone else's." And I thought that was a good representation of just the importance behind a leader being able to motivate the people that they are leading. Another one would be a leader who understands their surroundings and their environment. I think far too often do we see different leaders who come into an environment not being aware of their surroundings or aware of the people that they're leading, and just do an awful job being able to communicate or to just run an effective organization. I know for me personally, I've worked a job in the past where the boss formerly had military experience, which was awesome for organization and for keeping us on track. But it's me and a bunch of other girls who were working there, and he didn't know how to communicate in us because he didn't understand what this new environment was, which was so different from his past. And I remember we all had a little bit of growing pains and working through that situation, but as soon as he came to the understanding of truly understanding the environment that we had been working in, he was so successful. and it was an incredible experience. But I remember it took a while, and it took a lot of humility for all of us, and especially him, to be able to come down to the level and be like, okay, let me figure out what this new situation is like. And I don't know if you've been in those situations, but I know I've been in several situations where I've had to come in and first of all assess what the environment is that I was around. So understanding surroundings / environment. And then finally, the one that I wanted to talk about specifically on this video was a leader is at least one step ahead of the people that they're leading, and I think that's extremely important as well. In every leadership role I've ever held, I remember having so many moments wondering, am I made to lead? Do I have this ability? And something that I remember someone specifically telling me is, a leader needs only to be at least one step in front of the people that they're leading, and if you can do that, I think you're in a good place. And so as I was researching through everything, that was something that kept coming up, and I was like, man, that was a really good point, and that was something that I wanted to make sure to expound on. Then quickly I want to talk about what makes a bad leader. The first is just that there'd be no game plan or vision. A leader who just is in this position just to lead will not be as successful as someone who goes into it with a specific game plan and vision for the people that they are leading to follow. The next would be a leader who not only micromanages, but does not delegate, which leaves no room to empower the people that you are leading. So in the book, The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey by Kenneth Blanchard, one of my favorite books, I've read it several times. Kenneth Blanchard explains, in his environment, he is the boss over many people, and he talks about these figurative monkeys that all of us have on our backs. And those monkeys specifically are different tasks that we have. So this email is one monkey, or this little task or project is another monkey. And he would have his subordinates come in and try to kind of give him some of their tasks. And the more tasks he took of them, the more monkeys he took off of their backs and put onto his own, the more stress he created for himself, and the less he delegated to the people he was leading. And so I remember reading that book and then reading it again for this specific research paper and thinking, man, like that, I do that in my daily life for the people that I lead. Micromanaging and no delegation. And then the last one for what makes a bad leader is a leader who does not connect. A leader who can't connect with individuals is not going to be successful in their leadership. And in the book Toy Box Leadership, the authors talk about different toys and how they relate to different leadership skills. But specifically, they talk about the Legos and the connectivity of a leader, and how the connectivity is so important, and one who cannot connect can truly not lead successfully. And so that's kind of a little bit a rundown. I feel like I could use so many minutes to talk to you about this paper, and I love talking about leadership. But for my conclusion is the need for leadership is just imperative for the successfulness of a company or organization. It can create successfulness in less turnovers for employees, more motivated and loyal employees, which overall helps the company stay on top and stay successful. Thank you for taking the time to watch this and to listen to me, and I hope you were able to gain something from it.